In this lesson, we'll finish our stretchy IK legs by creating custom parameters that we'll use to turn our stretchy system on and off. So in this file, as you can see, the right leg has been set up to stretch using the same exact steps we used on the left side. We just want to make sure that we use the correct distance node that we made for the right leg. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started by creating a set of parameters that we'll use to regulate this system. We could always add them to our pelvis control, and then we might as well take care of the arms too. So let's go ahead and add those to the chest control since the arms are directly tied to this object, and since the legs are again tied to our pelvis, it might be a good idea to go ahead and add them here. Alright, so with the pelvis control selected, let's go ahead and add our attribute holder. We'll alt right click and go ahead and add it. Let's go ahead and rename this to extra controls. Alright, we'll do the same thing for our chest control. And you can see here that we already have an attribute holder, so we might as well just go ahead and start adding more to this list. So since we already have the chest selected, let's go ahead and press Alt 1 and start to add more parameters. Our parameter type will be Boolean, and we could always work with check button. So go ahead and switch this to check button. I think the highlight color is fine. Let's go ahead and name this L underscore arm underscore IK stretch. Alright, great. From there we'll hit enter to take a look at how the parameter will be displayed. And it looks like we need to increase this button's width a little bit more. Let's go ahead and try 100. Hit enter. And there we have it. It looks like 100 will work. Alright, so we'll go ahead and now copy this name. We'll choose add. And now let's go ahead and paste the name and change that L to an R for the right arm. Alright, great. We'll do the same thing now for the character's pelvis. So with that selected, we'll simply go ahead and paste the name in. This will be for the leg, so that's going to be L leg IK stretch. Let's hit enter, take a look. Everything works just fine. The length of our button is good, so we'll go ahead and choose add. Let's go ahead and paste the name again. And instead of an L, that will be R. Instead of arm, that will be leg. Alright, let's go ahead and add this last parameter. Alright, so now that we have these in place, we're ready to set up our expression. And it will be a condition statement. So we can say if our enable switch here is on, then we want the stretch to work. If it's off, we don't want any stretch at all. So let's go ahead and set up the legs. What we'll do is move back to our IK shin and go back to the motion panel and find the x-axis. So that's position, 0 position, x. Let's right click and choose properties. So now let's go ahead and add a variable. We'll name enable. Choose create. We now need to go ahead and find the custom parameter. So we'll choose assign to controller. It's going to be objects. We'll expand our global group. Underneath the center of gravity, we'll find our pelvis control. Let's go ahead and open that up to get to modified object, extra controls. And here it is, the left leg stretch. Let's go ahead and assign that. Alright, so we just want to concatenate everything here. So we have a condition statement inside of a condition statement. It's getting really deep. Let's go ahead and start our expression. So that's going to be if. Following that, we'll go ahead and put another parentheses, and then we'll go ahead and put one at the very end. We always want to keep track of our parentheses. So after the first parentheses, we'll go ahead and type in enable. And if this is equal to 1, we're going to put a comma. So if this is equal to 1, then we want this true statement to be our original code. Now let's go to the very last parentheses and we'll go just one line before it. We'll put another comma and we'll put our false part of this expression, which is simply 0. So if this is off, we don't want any stretch. We want our x-axis to equal 0. It's as simple as that. Let's go ahead and highlight everything here. Go ahead and copy. And now we can go ahead and evaluate. Let's take care of the nub next. So we'll go ahead and grab that. And we'll find our x-axis. All right, there it is. We'll right-click and choose Properties. Let's go ahead and paste our information in. Now remember, we need to change the length of the shin to make sure that we're using that correct value of 15.915. So let's not forget about that. Let's paste in our code, and let's go ahead and use that value we need. So that's 15.915. So there's 1 and there's 2. And now we'll need to create our enable variable. So let's go ahead and choose create and assign it. There it is. So now we can choose OK and evaluate. All right, so beautiful. So this should work. Right now, the system's off. So if we were to take our control and start to move this around, you can see here that it is going to not stretch this leg. We can see some ankle separation, but we'll worry about that when we do another progress check. I'll go ahead and show you how to make sure that it does not separate from the IK chain. All right, great. So now that we have that working, we can go ahead and head over to our Modify panel. Go ahead and grab the pelvis control, and let's go ahead and turn on our stretch. So now you'll see when we grab our IK control and we start to pull that, the leg will also pull. Very fun. All right, so once that's finished up, we'll need to do the same thing for the right side. We already have the parameters we need. So what we'll do in the next lesson after the right leg has been set up is just make sure that our main legs will go ahead and follow all that we've done for our IK and FK systems.